right, why did I use such big numbers? Oh well. 6 x's followed by 5 more x's is x to the 11th. So you add exponents to multiply numbers. Okay, what about dividing the numbers? Ten x's on top, 8 x's on the bottom, then what? This time they don't gather together, they cancel. How many are left? Well, if 8 of them cancel, then there's 2 left. So and how do you get that from 10 and 8? You subtract the exponents. Okay. Next, what happens if you have 6 x's on top and exactly 6 x's on the bottom? What if you have the same number? You don't have the number 0. When things cancel, remember that you cancel down to 1, not 0. So when you cancel everything, it is 1, not 0. Okay. What about this one? This time, we note that if you have more x's on the bottom, then you end up with the remaining x's on the bottom. So x to the 6 minus 8, otherwise known as x to the negative 2, flips x squared. So yeah. Next, we're going to take and multiply something out twice. Why are we allowed to rearrange the terms so that the x's are near each other? Because multiplication is commutative. Add the exponents for the x's, add the exponents for the y's, and so just be aware that if you're going to multiply numbers out, you don't have to write them out that many times. What do you do with the exponents? You multiply the exponents to distribute. And also notice that in this homework, I want you to take any negative exponents and turn them back into fractions. That'll be part of the simplification process. All right, what is big hoohickey to the 0? If it's anything to the 0, it's 1, as long as everything's inside the parentheses. I'm going to do this one by first starting to cancel the 5 and the 10, and then I'm going to move x to the 7th and x to the 3rd around. X to the 7th is x to the negative 7 in the denominator. Notice that you use up the negative exponents in order to move things around. Then subtract the exponents. We have x to the 4th more x's on top, so the x's end up on top. We could do -3 minus -7 is +4. People are really bad at subtracting negative numbers, so I usually move things around first. This 3 is not affected by the thingy to the 0, so make sure that only the stuff in parentheses turns into a 1. Distribute exponents. 3 gets an exponent. Be careful with that. So 1 over 3 squared, 1 over x to the 4th. So it's 1 over 9x to the 4th. So make sure you watch that. Same thing with this. -3 gets its own exponent. Notice that if it's an odd exponent, it stays negative, and if it's an even exponent, it turns positive. Multiply the exponents. -1 times 3 is -3. 2 times 3 is 6. So we have -27. X cubed ends up in the bottom, and y to the 6 ends up on the top. Make your fraction bar long enough. Thank you. All right, let's just do this irritating little one. This first one says, first try simplifying inside. So I can, first of all, cancel 25 and 15 down to 5 and 3. Start moving things around. I have, let's see, you know what I do? Sometimes I highlighter things. You might find it helpful. Highlighter anything that doesn't move. And then move the other things. So x to the -2 splits down. Y stays up because it got highlighted. Z cubed goes down. Let's see, x to the 5th comes up. Y squared stays down. Z squared stays down. If you prefer to subtract exponents instead, fine, whatever. Okay, so what do I have? 5 on the top. What happens with the x's? I have 5 x's on the top and 2 x's on the bottom, so I have 3 more x's on the top. With the y's, I have 1 y on the top and 2 on the bottom, so I have a single y left. The z's are all on the bottom now, so 3 and 2, that's 5 z's. Okay. Now this is not very efficient. I'm going to suggest that what you probably want to do is distribute first, because it's usually more efficient. But I just wanted to show that you can do it that way. So 5 to the -2, x to the -6, y to the -2, z to the -10. Let's move things around. Oh, what happened with my 3? 3 to the -2. Okay, 5 to the -2 is 25 on the bottom. X to the -6 is x to the 6th on the bottom. 3 to the -2 is 3 squared on the top. Squared z to the 10th. Well, that was painful. Okay, let's try distributing the exponents first. The only thing that I would probably do first is simplify the 25 over 15, because if you don't, numbers are actually harder to simplify than just variables. I'm going to write down 15 squared by writing 15 times 15, and 25 times 25 moves to the bottom. Then I can simplify both of them separately. Let's see, what do I have? I have x to the fourth, y to the negative 2 moves, y to the negative 4 moves, z to the negative 4 moves. Okay, let's see. Z to the 6th, x to the 10, y to the 2 moved down, and y to the 4 moved up, and z to the 4 moved up. Again, you can subtract exponents if you're good at subtracting negative numbers from each other. Let's see. So 9. Let's see, what about the x's? There's 6 more x's on the bottom. So we'll do 5 times 5, x to the 6, 4 minus 10 is negative 6. Let's see, y's, there's 2 extra y's on top. And how many z's? Z to the 10. Okay, oh, it's the same answer. It's painful either way.